Good morning, everybody from Hawaii. Afternoon to anybody in the States or Mexico, where some of these tropical systems are right now. The hurricane hunters, I couldn't believe this, they're the ones who fly into the hurricanes and give us data. I searched for them the other day to find out if they'd flown into Felicia or if they have plans to fly into it to get the most accurate data possible. And this is what I found. This is their Twitter account. I was already making Bye Felicia jokes from the Friday movies, but they went ahead and did that too. So we're going to be talking today about the hurricane right now that is traveling toward Hawaii, which is right over here. So then there's another possible development that could be coming on there. So I also wanted to say this is good news because I'm going to be sharing more about space weather with you. I aced my midterm. This was awesome. So this is about the NOAA scales so people can understand what radio blackouts are, how solar radiation storms affect us and our radio communications or our GPS, even heart I forget what the pacemaker can actually malfunction in these events. So we're having a little bit of an uptick in what's going on with the disturbance, which I was expecting from that time where they took the screenshot from the hurricane hunters until now. That's become not more of a 60% chance to form, but closer to a 90% chance, I would assume there. And with Felicia, the maximum wind speeds have gone up to 110 knots and 125 miles per hour. So we've reached up above category 1. We're into category 2 status there. And could maybe go to 3, but I wouldn't be too surprised if it doesn't. And there's a couple reasons why. Some of that is that obviously water is cooler up in the north, and we're looking at wind gusts near the surface right now. So along the surface of the water, getting some push down from the north between Felicia and Hawaii. So on its way, there probably will be some pockets of cooler water in there. These right here are lower resolution for that, but we can still get an idea, a wide range of it. And these gusts here are usually pretty accurate. So we are getting some readings there of over 100 miles per hour where it's white. And that now that the GFS has been updated, I'm going to try to use this more. It's more blocky, so I don't usually with hurricanes, but it's actually not picking up the stronger winds that the European has embedded in there with little bits of white. So matching closer to what the National Hurricane Center was saying. And I'll go ahead and switch this back since I'm in this part of the world right now to miles per hour. And then go over the big things here. We have wind shear that will help a storm either degrade or continue staying organized. And here there's a very low shear environment. So we're looking at the tropics in between Felicia and Hawaii, again off the map a little bit. But there's not a lot of shear to tear it apart. So this storm could continue to grow bigger and bigger. And another reason to think so is that there is some warm water in there. But then there'll be little pockets of cooler water, you'll notice, coming down. So this could very well end up getting kind of sucking in a little bit of this cooler water and then degrading it. So although the wind shear is favorable for it to continue, the water temperatures are a little bit back and forth. And then when we're on the GHOST satellite, we're looking at water vapor here in the mid-levels. Green is a lot of moisture, and yellow is very dry. Orange is extremely dry. So we can see that Felicia is actually taking in a little bit of this drier air, and it will continue to do that. And so when that happens near the level where a lot of that moisture lives, it will start to evaporate it. And so that's another reason for its degradation before getting here. But I would not be surprised if, we at least have enhanced rainfall. So again, we're way off the map with these. It's always interesting trying to work with things here on a large scale. So we're having there's not a lot of reason for it to die down besides that bit of water, and that's going to cool off a little. So I would say, we're probably going to have a little bit of rain here in Hawaii. I would not be surprised if we end up with some humid days and tropical moisture next week. For now, a lot of the forecast cones, and this is, I think, yes, it is NOAA's and the National Hurricane Center's cone as well, the official forecast. And so it shows it kind of wobbling back and forth. And one other determinant there on deciding exactly where they're going to go is the steering winds. And so when I looked at those, I agreed with their track very closely, and I'll show you why. So I'll go up to the level of right in the middle, kind of where all that moisture was, around 600 millibars, 500 millibars. And if we zoom way out, we can get an idea of where those winds are going at that level. And that's where the bulk of the moisture lives. So a lot of the storm will travel along this line. And at this point, it's here. But of course, by the time Felicia meanders here, it'll be a couple days away from now. And so things are going to change in the atmosphere. And I'll play out this model. I they tend to do very well in the next couple of days at least. And so there's a lot of just kind of push here. We have a typical high pressure that is north of the islands this time of year, bringing us some nice winds. So there are some stronger winds embedded in there with what we call our trade winds for Hawaii. And all along, Felicia's just going to keep cruising along toward Hawaii then. So possibly, I would say, by maybe Wednesday, Thursday, um, it, we could possibly be seeing some just tropical moisture. If this storm does stay organized, I would think that it would probably mostly go south of the island, but chances are at this point, I'm thinking that it will mostly just be some rain for us and no strong wind. So I'll be interested to see what this does though before I sign off here. Now, when these models get out, the uncertainty, just to be clear, it expands to about 700 miles away from the cone at some points. Although, along with this, this is what I was expecting. That high pressure is very dominant right now, and I don't think that the model is taking that in any differently than I was. So this is where I think there might be a pull of moisture. So that's all for today. And that, again, yeah, 1 week from now. So that I'm in agreement with a lot of these models right now, and hopefully nothing, wild and crazy, but some rain for us with Felicia. Everybody have a nice day. I can hear my kid just woke up. I'm going to go make breakfast now. Enjoy your weather. Let me know how it is for you. And if there's anything about space weather you would like to know as I'm making those